I did work out in the shirt today. What's good, y'all? It's the Project Man, and today, man, we gotta talk about what's in the thumbnail right now. Obviously, what we just saw on AEW Dynamite was the Jack Perry CM Punk incident that happened. And pretty much what happened was, for the people who don't know the backstory, CM Punk had did an interview on, which I made a video about, made an interview about what happened at All In last year with Jack Perry. And he was like, basically, I was like, why are you doing this internet stuff? And Jack Perry said, you're not going to do anything about it or do something about it. And then he did something about it. He said, all I did was choke a guy out or choke a guy a little bit. And then when they released the footage, that's literally exactly what happened. He pushed him. And then when Jack Perry got too close, he choked him out some, you know what I mean? And he was obviously yelling at Tony Khan, pointing at him behind the monitors and saying what he said in the interview, probably accurate, that this place is a freaking joke and, he's a clown and that he quits. And you can call him a crybaby for that, but at the end of the day, bro, look at what your talent just did. I'm not saying that Punk doesn't take blame in this, by the way, but look at what your talent just did. He just freaking sent a shot at your biggest draw, your top guy, and you just watched him do that and didn't do anything about it. But then he suspends him after the incident's over. He suspends him, suspends Punk. But it's one of those things where it's like, bro, why is your talent even allowed to do this? Like, to just go out there and just take shots at him and things like that. And obviously Punk, shouldn't have, got aggressive with him. But even then, if you see that they're arguing and having a confrontation, why not stop it before anything even escalates? But anyway, I say all this to say, the thing that was about releasing the footage, obviously, like I said, it was in response to the interview CM Punk did. And the thing that made it so stupid about them releasing it is, it had nothing to do with the storylines on their show to build up for their own pay-per-view. They spent more, because I seen the show, and they spent more time talking, or there was segments of this show that honestly made you think more about the WWE than AEW. You're thinking about WWE watching AEW. Because what they decided to do was they decided to release this footage to, I don't know, essentially get back at Punk. And they put that above their entire show and above all of what they got going on. So it just looked really stupid. So literally what happened was they released footage of the actual incident that happened where he did shove him and, choked him out a little bit. Choked him out, but he choked him a little bit. Look, guillotine choke, you get him right here, front face lock. And, Joe pulled him off and, Jerry Lynn and others separated Punk off of him. But that's what happened. And Punk literally just told the truth. So it's not even like Punk lied. So I don't know if this was supposed to expose Punk or what, because what happened is exactly what Punk said in the interview. So them releasing the footage absolutely made no sense, because not only was this 8 months ago, but number two, the main guy in the fight, CM Punk, he's not even there anymore. Matter of fact, he's in the WWE, the bigger company. So it doesn't even make any sense, because if this has nothing to do with the storylines on your show, then what's the point of releasing that footage if it doesn't help any of the storylines on your show? And they tried to tie it in by saying, well, it's because Young Bucks, FTR, they're friends with the guys who were in a fight. And they tried to tie that into their feud, but that's literally lackluster. You're trying to use something that happened 8 months ago to tie into to create some type of build and hype for a match that has nothing to do with that incident. It's just they so happen to be friends with the guys who were fighting each other. But that has nothing to do with them fighting. And again, one of the guys in the fight aren't even there anymore, the biggest star you had, and he's in the other company, the top company, the WWE. And then the last thing I'm going to say about this is, obviously it was a desperate, and capitalize that word, desperate, attempt to get their ratings back up. I don't know if it's going to draw, I doubt it's going to draw 1 million. That'd be drastic. But even if it does get somewhere in the 900s or whatever, you just used a guy that no longer works for you. Matter of fact, it works for your competition, the WWE. You used CM Punk, doesn't even work for you anymore. Works for the only place that is higher than you in terms of everything, ratings, viewership, everything. The one guy You used in that as the CM Punk is still your ratings boost and bump and your attempt at better ratings, and he doesn't even work for you anymore. Because this honestly is just a bad look on the talent, because it's like, hey, we can't draw with all these hot free agents we just signed. You know, we can't draw anything with Mercedes, Will Ospreay, Okada. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to bring back memories of the guy who's not here anymore. Yay, because we're so petty and want to get back at him for what he said on the interview that gave us some negative press. Here's what you do. You move on from it. And even if you want to address it, do that in another interview. Don't do that live on television. And not even that, but go as far as to release footage from 8 months ago. Which, if you were going to release that footage, you should have done it around the time it happened, because then it would have made more sense, because maybe you could have made something out of that. And Punk wanted to quit anyway. So some people say, why did they fire Punk? I mean, Punk wanted to quit anyway. I just think there was no way around it, unless Punk forced his roster to work with Punk, which he didn't have the guts to make them do that. But no, it had nothing to do with their show, and it did nothing to build their pay-per-view, because the person, the main guy in it, CM Punk, he's not on your show. He does not work for you anymore. So what's the point of dragging him into trying to sell tickets for your show? Like, I want you to understand how bad that looks. A top guy in the other company, the WWE, is being used to create build between two guys who have nothing to do with the actual incident that took place. But because people know about that story, and because they want to get back at Punk, they tried to release that footage, like I said, as a weak attempt. And weak in terms of, you went that low to release footage that is 8 months old and no one cares about it anymore, but you want to resurface it because he talked about it on the interview and talked about his side of the story. And like I said, if you want to respond to it, do it in another interview. And then Ospreay later on in the show referred to Triple H and talking about how, you know, he's only in his position because he, you know, got with Stephanie. But two things. Number one, Triple H still had to put in the work. So it's not like you can just marry the boss's daughter and just win championships. No, you still have to physically put in the work still. So even with that being the case, that's like saying, well, I got here because, you know, of my dad, but I still have to put in the work to achieve that level. You know, I still have to put in the grind and put on the matches and everything and talk on the microphone. No amount of, you know, insides in the business is going to make you good on the microphone or good in the ring or work hard. So that was a stupid point to make. And number two, again, why are you talking about, again, if you want to do that in an interview, okay, but why are you doing that on your television show, where you're supposed to be building matches and storylines between the stars you have, not people who are working in the other company? Why are you using them? I guess somewhat trying to capitalize off of WrestleMania. I don't know, trying to rub and get their shine in some way, shape, or form. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. But yeah, all that to say, you know, AEW, hope for the best for them. But that show was just a mess. And the thing that people are talking about all throughout the internet, which obviously that's what they did this for, to get people talking. And that's all. They're not even talking about anything that's happening on AEW as far as their pay-per-view is concerned. They're talking about an incident that happened 8 months ago that, again, which means you have to talk about one of the top guys in WWE now. So that's what I'm saying. What was the point of releasing that footage? Because that doesn't get people to talk about AEW. That gets people to talk about a guy who's now in the WWE. They're talking about him because you showed him on your show. If you want to create buzz for your company, you just put on great television and captivating storylines. You don't use footage from 8 months ago in a real life incident that took place, and the main guy, the biggest star in that incident and in the fight, is in another company as one of their top guys. Say all that to say, do better. You know what I mean? That's all you can really say at the end of that. But love and appreciate you guys. Comment down below what y'all felt about it. But like, comment, subscribe before you get out of here. And the Prodigy is out, and I shall see you on the next one. Peace.